Well, welcome on back to the Daydream Arcade, y'all. I'm Brianna. This is my lovely co-host, Daryl.
Why do we default to southern accents?
Well, I'm from the South.
You live in Florida.
I'm as South as I can get.
I don't think that's as... Oh, wait.
There are some country bumpkins here, I will tell you that much. Like in northern Florida, wow. But even where I am, to be honest, because it's kind of close to northern Florida, it's kind of country. It's a lot of white folk.
Up here in New York, we just have a whole just conglomerate of people, and that's what I love about New York.
That's
and
awesome.
Also, we get more seasons than you guys do, so...
Yeah, we have 2 seasons.
Yeah, you've never seen snow.
No, never in my life.
Well, come up here and visit someday, and we'll make in-person videos.
Let's absolutely go. But yeah, guys, welcome back to Spicy Saturday. If you don't know what Spicy Saturday is, basically, we choose a subreddit, we choose 2 stories each, and then we read them to each other and talk about them a little bit. Today's subreddit, so we kind of chose 2 because they're basically the same thing, r/confessions and r/confession, just one.
Oh no.
So we're just gonna read those.
Yes. This first one comes from user bashedcrab_original. Broke into my work drunk multiple times and stole heaps. When I was fresh out of high school, I got a job at a certain Australia fast food joint. After a few months, I was made restaurant manager for being the least stupid person there, I guess. Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's only requirement. That's the bare minimum requirement for places, that you just have, common sense. While this job did say free food and 1 drink for managers on break, I took wildly liberal use of this. The cameras weren't working for over a year there, and the owners lived hours away in a big city. This was a small town. So I would take enough food home each day to feed myself and my 2 housemates. I managed to get one of my housemates a manager job there too. It just got worse. We never paid for food, and we were making $50K a year for 2 18-year-olds. Legit felt like kings. Imagine making $50,000 a year at 18 years old.
You are balling at 18.
You have the right to call yourself a king. Only bills we had was rent and Rego. What's Rego? This is obviously an Australian thing. Are you laughing because I don't know what Rego is?
No, No. I genuinely don't know what Rego is. I'm thinking of this story in an Australian accent.
Rego products.
Rego?
Rego. Oh, no, it's made in the USA.
Oh. Okay, so we're just ignorant.
It could, I don't know.
How do you spell it?
Are you serious?
Rego?
Rego.
Like,
oh, no, never mind. You can't even see. So it's not like you...
Like, what do you mean?
R-E-G-O.
Oh, Rego. So I didn't know if it was like R-I-G-O or...
Rigo?
Rigo. You can, like, Rico? R-I-C-O?
English is weird. English is so weird. Yeah, Ricola. Ricola.
Alternative fuels?
Rigatoni. Anyway, whatever Rego is. Everything else was disposable. Rent used to be cheap as fuck in small towns. We would even go to the pub, and after lockout, we would open the store and cook everyone a meal. The security company would call to check, but since we were the managers, they would call us, and we would say it was all good. Moved on in the world. Making really good money and a nice job, but I miss stealing and cooking. Moved on in the world, making really good money and a nice job, but I miss those simple times. Feeling like a hero, cooking all my drunk mates' food at 3 a.m. In hindsight, not a great idea being around scolding hot oil while cooked as fuck, but hey, nothing happened. That's a nice little lighthearted confession to start off with.
That was wholesome. I did that at a sandwich shop I worked at. I always took drinks, and I would make myself sandwiches.
Yeah, I used to work in a kitchen. Eventually when I just became comfortable, I can't tell you how much food I stole. On my last day, I took an entire bag of frozen chicken tenders, like the best chicken tenders. Anybody in the comments, just if you have a story of times that you've stolen from a past job or whatever, listen, this is a safe space. You can't get fired from a job you're not at,
As long as you don't probably say the company and like where you worked and shit, then yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Although there are people that used to work with me that watch our videos, so
They're about to rat you out. Be like, hey.
Yeah, we all equally hated the place. If anything, they're just gonna say, "Good on you, man. Good on you." I hope you enjoyed those
big
tendies.
Corporations, dude. Steal what you can. They don't respect you. Fuck it.
I forget. We haven't done confession in a while. Did we go through comments?
I think if you see like a comment that's like good or like funny.
Spencer 102 says, thought quote unquote stole heaps meant something worse, but you were just taking food?
Yeah.
If it was really so bad, then food loss would be too high to hide and you'd have lost the job anyways. Yeah.
That's like taking something from McDonald's.
You used to work at McDonald's, right?
I did.
How many people got away with stealing food? How many people stole food all the
time? So many. So fucking many. Like, let's say you did an order wrong, or like you made the food wrong, or like you put something that they didn't want on there. You don't give it to them. They just give it back to you. And then it just sits there. So they're like, all right, I'm going to eat this.
It reminds me of that Family Guy bit. Like, I don't watch Family Guy anymore, but I just remember when Stewie was like left home alone and they did like a Home Alone parody and he had to get a job. So he went to go to the local fast food joint. He got a job working there and he just stole a bunch of fish sandwiches that were just left out. Yep. And the manager is just like, we have photos of you. And then it's just like a picture of him just like sneaking them and then another one of him just vomiting.
Yeah, dude, especially like breakfast. My manager would be like, hey, are you hungry? Like, take these little fucking like the little sausage burrito things.
I
was like, stay fucking less, dude.
McDonald's breakfast burritos, I don't know what it is, but their breakfast burritos are really good.
They are very good. And I like the little hot sauces. I really hate that they stopped all day breakfast. Like, why does it end at 10:30?
It was because of the pandemic.
Well, get it together, McDicks.
Bring me back my Mick everything.
Mm-hmm. Yo, when they brought back bagels, I screamed.
When did they get rid of bagels?
I think it was during the pandemic as well. Like, they just didn't have bagels anymore. And
that's dumb.
Yeah. And then I saw like those signs that they have that they put on the dumpster.
We like, don't have bagels.
No. It said bagels are back. And I was like, bro.
Wait, they put it on the dumpsters?
Yes. It's like big sign saying bagels are back. I was like, okay.
Bagels are back. That's for the raccoons, so that later when they're scavenging, they see the signs like, oh, bagels are back.
But they're fucking bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel sandwich. Holy fuck.
As opposed to Dunkin' Donuts like breakfast sandwiches and their hash browns where you can literally taste the electricity from the oven that they were put in.
No, especially the hash browns. That shit is just mush.
I'll eat it though.
I'll eat
we're on a
it
road
every
trip.
time.
I will stop at a Dunkin' and I will eat that.
Literally, because it's cheap and it's sustenance.
I don't know if I'm weird for this. In the comments, let me know. But I always bring like a little travel size Frank's Red Hot with me.
Aw.
Just in case I'm on the road and we stop somewhere and they don't have hot sauce.
You gotta have hot sauce.
How else are you gonna taste the bland?
Exactly. Like. That shit enhances it.
Also, another thing that's back, Taco Bell's
shut the fuck
rolled
up.
chicken tacos for a limited time. You can get them at Taco Bell. We're not sponsored by this, but Taco Bell. Listen, if you want to throw some money around, I know that we're just a mosquito size of a channel, but listen, this video is going to be out there forever. So, if someone comes back and watches this 4 years down the road, Taco Bell.
Have you had the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches from bagels?
We're talking about Taco Bell. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck about Taco Bell.
I know you don't, which is why I'm talking about it now.
I don't give a fuck.
We have a platform now. We need to take advantage of people. We need to take advantage of corporations. So let me work my magic.
No. Anyway, we need to move on from McDonald's.
Yeah, we need to move on from this. Okay. Yeah, I agree.
It's been 20 minutes.
All right. This next story is posted by user OKTemperature189. My son broke his bully's nose. I've done almost everything I could do regarding the situation. I've contacted the parents. I've contacted the school. The parents basically blew me off and told me that it was a situation of kids being kids. The school pretended to care, but didn't do anything in their power to actually stop it. I have asked my son plenty of times if he wanted to switch schools. It was always a no because he doesn't want to leave his friend. I can understand that considering he's had a rough go ever since he started school. He's been diagnosed both with autism and ADHD, so it's really hard for him to make friends. The little prick has been doing this to him for years, but lately it has gotten much worse. He's been shoving my son in the halls/lunch line, causing him to fall many times, and calls him things like, drops the R word, and slow. He used to pick him up by his backpack and toss him to the ground before he had a growth spurt. But now my boy is taller than most kids in his grade. 5th. Still, he didn't know how to stick up for himself. My wife always encouraged killing them with kindness, but it never worked in his favor.
Murdering them.
Just, kindness. My wife always encouraged killing them with kindness, but it never worked in his favor. I've told him repeatedly for the past year that he needs to stand up for himself and fight back. Yesterday, he came home crying, and it just broke my heart to see how much pain he was in. I wasn't mean to him, but I was very stern and told him if he didn't fight back the next time, I was going to take him out of that school whether he liked it or not. Today, I got a call from my wife after work, and she told me what happened. He was on his way to lunch and got shoved onto the ground, causing his knees to be a bit bruised. My son then got up and left hooked him right in the face, causing his nose to immediately bleed. My son said that the boy began to cry, and he even felt kind of bad. Heart of gold, in parentheses. His parents have contacted us. They're threatening to sue and told us that his nose had been broken.
Man, good.
He said earlier in the story, the parents basically blew me off and told me that it was a situation of kids being kids.
Like,
and now they want to sue?
Go fuck yourself.
The second that your kid, gets hurt by this other kid, now we're going to take action. Like, get the fuck out of here. I know so many I went to school with so many kids whose parents were like that. Like, and I didn't understand it then, but now that I'm an adult and I look back on it now, parents that enable their kids' behavior by being like, oh, they're just kids. What the fuck is actually wrong with you?
They're useless.
My wife is mad at me because I've been over the moon since. I don't condone violence, but in this situation, something had to be done.
Truly.
Anyone who thinks otherwise hasn't seen the pain that little punk has caused for my son. If his parents didn't want it to come to this, then they should have taken it more seriously when I told them how much of a big asshole their kid is. I had my fair share of bullies as a kid, and I never did anything about it. I'm glad I'm raising a son that is much tougher than I was. Mm-hmm. I hope that this has taught him to never be afraid to stick up for himself. I'm a very proud dad today.
Aw.
Yeah.
See, that's a good dad.
That is a very good dad.
Man, fuck that other punk, bro. Little fucking loser.
I was bullied a lot in school.
Same.
I never stood up for myself.
Same.
I understand where this dad is coming from, saying that he had his fair share of bullies as a kid, but didn't do anything. I'm sure the dad didn't explicitly say, break the kid's nose.
Yeah.
But listen, when you are constantly getting bullied every day is like gigantic question mark when you question your own safety as a kid going into school, not only just their physical safety but their own emotional safety.
Yeah, it sticks with you.
Yeah, bullying happens in so many different forms. There was this kid that I went to school with. I went to school with him in middle school. This kid was an asshole to me. Every time I would get a question wrong, he would laugh. He'd see me in the hallway. He would try and knock my books down. Years later, when I did some seasonal work at the local post office, he worked there. Hadn't changed a bit.
Ugh.
Hadn't changed a
They usually
bit.
don't.
One night I screwed something up and I was getting reamed by our supervisor, and he was just off in the corner laughing, and I'm just I wanted to stomp this dude's face in. So if you're out there, fuck you.
Full name.
What are your thoughts on this? The wife is I'm sure she's mad, especially since he's just happy that his son broke another kid's nose. It is a little serious of a situation. Once again, going back to Family Guy, when Peter beats up Chris's bully or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's more of a serious situation. If the dad had beaten up the kid, that's a huge different situation. But like you said, bullying sticks with you. And this kid has endured so much. I do not blame him for swinging on this kid.
No, not at all.
And when you're a kid and you get into fights when you're under the age of 18 or 60 or whatever, when you're a minor, then depending on the situation, the consequences for what is basically assault are way less severe than when you're an adult. If I got into a fight and like I broke some dude's arm in a fight, like at a bar or something, chances are I'm going to get some sort of charge for that. There are legal ramifications to this kind of stuff, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think
the kid did the right thing. Unfortunately, a lot of bullies don't learn until you finally fight back, and then they realize like, oh shit, okay, so maybe I can't just like fuck this kid over all the time.
Like they play the victim too. I remember. Yes. I hate to go back to this. This one kid that I used to go to school with. Like he was a bully to everybody. He was like the universal bully. Like this kid hated everything. You know, I would always call people like the R word, the F word, whatever. I used to play like recreational like basketball with him. Like, did you ever have that at school? Like you could have, there were like different basketball leagues or whatever. Like it wasn't like the school team, but it was like you could do like extracurriculars and whatnot.
Not that I remember, no.
Oh. Well, it was just like within the district and whatever that I was in, you know, like on the weekends that would have kids basketball or whatever. And I remember one time he was fucking with this particular kid and whatnot. He was like making fun of him. He also made fun of him in school. And sorry, I'm just going to like give them names real quick. Jimmy, the a-hole kid that I was talking about, and Alan, the bullied kid, at one point got so angry with this kid, he threw the basketball and hit him right in the back of like right in between his shoulders. And he just collapses on the ground and just starts fake crying.
What a fucking loser.
He's just like, ow, ow, ow. His dad comes out of the stands, picks him up, brings him to the corner, and you just see him like yelling at him. It's
like, why are you a bitch?
Yeah. Get back out there and fight that kid. It's like, geez, no wonder that kid was a bully, because he lived with the biggest bully.
Unfortunately, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah,
you project what you deal with on a daily basis.
That is sad, especially when you're a kid. You just kind of like emulate everything that's around you.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, a lot of schools, like, they don't really give a fuck when it comes to bullying. Like, they'll say they're gonna do something and like whatever, and they'll usually do like a little tiny like reprimand to the bully, and then they just go back right to it.
They don't get in trouble at all, but the person that hit them is the first one to get like a suspension or maybe even expelled or whatever. The schools are just...
I was really lucky. One of my bullies, it was in middle school, it was a dude. He would like sit behind me and like kick the back of my chair. He'll like flick me. And,
oh my God, I hated people like that.
Just do a whole bunch of shit to be a fucking menace. And eventually I told my parents, and they went to the school, went to the principal, and basically reamed him a new one to get the shit together and to get him in line. And then he stopped.
Yeah, that kid probably got the fear of God put in him.
Yeah, I hope so.
But when I wrote an Asian joke on a project, I got in-school suspension for 3 days. It's like, look at me.
I'm Asian.
I'm Asian.
That's real fucking funny.
The public school system failed me, as you can clearly see. Next story.
Ooh, all right. I don't want to read this user's name. So, user redacted. The title is, I once broke up with a girl because she turned the bathroom into a biohazard every time she took a dump. It's hard out here. A few years ago, I was in a relationship with a Korean girl. I'm not talking about someone who has Korean ancestry. She was actually born and raised in Korea. So she ate a lot of kimchi, bulgogi, garlic, spicy food, etc. The first time it happened, she got up while we were watching a movie. When she came back, I needed to pee, so I went into the bathroom and immediately almost threw up. It was legitimately one of the most horrid smells I've ever experienced. I didn't say anything, though, because I didn't want to embarrass her. I started buying air freshener and spraying the bathroom top to bottom every time she used it. It didn't help much. Eventually, I started to associate the sight of her with the rancid shit smell. I couldn't be around her without being disgusted, so we broke up. I told her it was because we were both busy in our personal lives.
Oh.
I think you're a bitch.
Listen.
Everybody shits.
Everybody shits.
You are a fucking loser.
Oh my God. Like, have you ever lived with another human being? Like, dude. Jesus. Listen, that's something that everybody gets over at some point. It's like we all shit. It's so stupid. If you are going to be with somebody, if it's not this like, oh, I'm just like dating them to fuck them or like games and stuff like that, you genuinely care about this person and you want to continue growing with this person. Part of that growing process is you are going to smell their shit someday. It's like, it's unavoidable.
Literally everybody shits. Like, I don't get it. And I didn't like how he's like, I was in a relationship with a Korean girl. And not just someone who has Korean ancestry. She was actually born and raised in Korea. Like, you sound like a fucking ignorant white boy.
I'm that first Korean. I have Korean genes, but I was born in Korea, but I wasn't raised in Korea. I was raised in the United States of A. Bitch. Bitch. When I did bitch, I did like a salute. I was like, bitch.
Next story. It's a little bit longer. I did the short story first. This is posted by user throwaway-23no. My wedding is in a month and I'm breaking it off. I know it sounds impulsive, and I suppose it is, but there's a good reason behind it. My, 23 female, husband-to-be, we'll call him liar, 36 male, is no longer the man I thought I was marrying, and I'm honestly not sure if he ever was. We met through my brother, 26 male, who set us up on a blind date 2 years ago. My brother met him at work, and apparently they just clicked. He thought Liar and I would be the perfect match. The date went well, and Liar thought it'd be a good idea to go on one again. While on the second date, I thought it'd be a good idea to make a few things clear, in case this would lead to a long-term relationship, which it did. I explained that I wasn't interested in being with a religious person, someone who wanted children, etc. Basically anything that could cause problems in the future. One thing I mentioned in particular was that if I wasn't his type, he should be forward about it, because I wasn't interested in changing anything permanently. I'd also like to add that we discussed medical problems, because I am on medication for a psychological disorder that causes drastic weight fluctuations. He agreed with all my views, even saying that I was exactly his type. He said he didn't mind the weight fluctuations either, because it didn't change my appearance all too much, which is true. Well, we've been engaged for 6 months now, and last week Liar sat me down and told me not to freak out. I listened. He explained that he wasn't entirely honest with me, saying that he was a Christian and he wanted children. He then continued by saying that he thought I would have changed my mind about these things, but that ultimately we could work through it together in counseling after the wedding. That wasn't where I freaked out, because I wasn't given the chance to. He gave me the following list of things he didn't like about me and thought I'd have to change. 1, I'd have to go off the medication because he didn't like that sometimes I'd be easy to pick up and other times not so much. Apparently this was embarrassing in front of his friends. 2, I'd have to start wearing makeup. I have a skin condition that doesn't allow for it. 3, dye my hair brown and get it chemically straightened every few weeks. He didn't like the curls and was even willing to pay for it. Yay. And 4, get a boob job. And more things of the like. I stayed quiet and said that he'd have to give me a moment. I've been staying at my friend's place for the past week. Liar doesn't know. But he did get my parents, who I haven't spoken to since I was 14, to call me. Apparently he's had contact with them the entire relationship, knowing full well what they put me through. I honestly just don't know what to do anymore. I'm leaving, but I'm not sure how to tell him.
I feel like you don't owe him an explanation. What he did and what he is basically demanding you to do is not normal.
I don't like how he's trying to conform you into something that you're not, considering he is 36 and you are 23.
That's not a very Christian thing to do.
Be like, hey, I'm not actually Christian. Be like, oh, never mind, I am. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure Jesus wouldn't like that because you're rejecting him. And then you're like, actually, JK.
He'll remember that when you go to heaven. They go to the pearly gates. It's like, oh, yeah, I remember you.
Remember when you lied?
That's also super shady, the fact that he was in contact with her parents the entire relationship.
And she hasn't spoken to them since she was 14. Like, that's crazy. There's a big reason for that. And the first thing he said is that she has to get off her medication for a psychological disorder because he didn't like that he couldn't pick her up sometimes. What? What?
The more we talk about horrible boyfriends on this show, and the more that we hear about these people, it's just my hope for humanity just drifts even further away And I didn't think that was possible.
I am genuinely so thankful that I'm a raging lesbian. I feel so bad for my straight friends and like people who have to deal with men. But granted, women can be psychotic as well. There's a lot of lesbians that are fucking insane. But it just seems like it's way more common with men.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, I know we probably just angered all of the men, but all the sensitive men.
If you get angry for anything that we say, that means it pertains to you. If you are not the kind of person that we're talking about, then you would not get angry. It's so easy to be a nice person and not be a fucking asshole. Like, I feel like it's so much harder to be an awful person.
And maybe we could talk about this at some point on like a podcast, but I would love to talk just about like people and like authenticity and just how people just, on the internet just aren't real. Like we're real people, but it's, I don't know.
People love to put up a front, but yeah, I get that.
But not us. What you see is what you get, basically.
There's not much of a difference offline.
I think that she should leave him and move on to something so much better than that, because there is something a lot better than that out there.
She is so fucking young. She's going to find someone who will love her just the way that she is. She was about to get married to a 36-year-old man. What? Like, that motherfucker
that he's 36 and he's like that.
That motherfucker literally just looked at her as someone he could change into his ideal woman because she's so young and she doesn't really, 23, you don't really know yourself yet. So it's like, goddamn, fuck that guy. But yeah, that's it.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for coming out for another Spicy Saturday. Hopefully this one actually went up on a Saturday. If it did, like this video. Where can they find you, Brianna? You guys got to follow us on our social medias.
Any social media that I'm on is @SarahKid. If you want to see what I do.
If you guys want to follow me, you can follow me @TheDairyBoy on all social media. You can get me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm never calling it X. You will always hear us call it Twitter. No. It is Twitter. Elon Musk, you stupid baby man.
You stupid.
And if you guys want to follow the Daydream Arcade, just follow us on everything at the Daydream Arcade, except for Twitter, because Twitter is Daydream Arcade for some reason. Join Whoville today. Give us a subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next Spicy Saturday.
Bye.